So today we're going to talk about a nation that's really wrestling with itself, kind of being pulled in two completely different directions. On one hand, you have this incredibly bold, ambitious vision for the future. And on the other, well, there's the complex, challenging reality of today. This is the story of Trinidad and Tobago, a real tale of paradise and paradox.
It all kicks off with this powerful line taken right from the country's own master plan, forged from the love of liberty. I mean, that sets a tone, right? It's all about optimism, high ideals, painting a picture of a country that's ready to become this vibrant, forward-looking global hub.
But then, bam, you get hit with this major contradiction. Looking at the numbers, you'd think, wow, great news. Murders are down by a third. But then you have to ask, how did they do it? By declaring 2 states of emergency, suspending constitutional rights just to get a handle on organized crime? So, is the country actually safer, or is it just temporarily on lockdown?
And that really is the core question we're trying to unpack here. When you look past the headlines and the official government plans, what's the true state of the nation? Is it the paradise they're building, or is it this paradox of progress and peril all happening at the same time?
Okay, so first, let's look at the dream. The government has this massive plan called the Revitalisation Blueprint. It's designed to completely transform the country, especially moving it away from its old reliance on oil and gas. The goal is pretty clear: to build a nation that is safe, fair, attractive, and, actually functional for everybody.
And we're not just talking about a few new buildings here. The ambition is huge. There's a new innovation hub planned for the capital, Port of Spain, a brand new national security complex, a totally redone waterfront in San Fernando, and they're even planning to turn an old prison island, Isla Carrera, into a luxury resort. This is nation building on an epic scale.
And, to make all this happen, they're backing it up with some serious cash. The budget for 2026 sets aside over $6.3 billion, that's billion with a B, Trinidad and Tobago dollars just for national security. It really shows you that they see safety and security as the absolute bedrock for everything else they want to achieve.
All right, let me give you a perfect example of what this future is supposed to look like. Take the Isla Carrera luxury resort. The idea is to take this island, a place that used to be for isolation and punishment, and turn it into a symbol of renewal, wellness, and high-end tourism. That's the vision in a nutshell, transforming the past into a beautiful and profitable future. But, and this is a huge but, here's where that paradox just smacks you in the face again. You can't build a luxury resort or any of those other massive projects without basic materials like sand and gravel. And get this, the country has not issued a single formal processing license for this stuff in 25 years. The whole industry is stuck in this illegal gray area, which could bring all this amazing new construction to a grinding halt. So that brings us to what's actually happening on the ground, where you can start to see these deep, systemic cracks forming right under the shiny surface of that national blueprint. You know this whole idea of a good headline hiding a bad story? Well, check out the road safety numbers. Overall, road deaths are down 22%. You'd say that's a win, right? But if you dig just a little deeper, you see that deaths from motorcyclists are up by a staggering 400%. And on one single major road, fatalities have jumped over 50%. It just goes to show how a positive number at the top can completely mask a catastrophe happening underneath.
Okay, let's go back to that aggregates crisis for a second, because the timeline is just wild. The last official license was handed out way back in the year 2000. For 25 years, a whole industry has just been floating in limbo because of bureaucratic paralysis. It got so bad that by late 2025, the industry itself, with people getting arrested, was demanding that the government just shut them down until a proper legal system could be created. I mean, can you imagine that? An entire industry begging to be stopped?
And all of this, it leads to what people are calling the statistical paradox. It's this weird situation where you get positive headlines, like that 33% drop in murders, but they're only possible because of extreme measures, like a state of emergency. It really suggests that the root causes of crime, the organized gangs, they haven't gone away. They've just been suppressed for a little while.
Okay, so all this internal stuff isn't happening in a bubble, right? We need to zoom out and see how Trinidad and Tobago is dealing with things on the world stage, because there are a lot of pressures there too.
So, the government's super aggressive anti-crime policy, it's causing some major friction internationally. The Prime Minister came out and publicly praised recent U.S. military strikes against drug traffickers, but that puts the country on a collision course with partners like the Caribbean bishops, who are voicing grave concern about the whole military buildup and the lack of respect for national sovereignty.
But then, just when you think you have it figured out, the country turns around and does something incredibly forward-thinking. They're designing something called a blue carbon credit scheme. Basically, it's a way to monetize their marine ecosystems. Mangroves, seagrass beds. The idea is to sell credits for the carbon these habitats soak up, creating a whole new revenue stream to fund conservation. It's a brilliant idea that puts them right at the forefront of climate finance.
So you've got these huge problems, regulatory nightmares, global pressures. What holds everything together? Well, in Trinidad and Tobago, so much of it comes down to its incredibly powerful and unifying culture.
Okay, let's talk carnival. Because it's not just a street party, it is a massive, highly organized business. The party, or fete, scene is broken down into these really strict tiers. At the very top, you've got these ultra-premium, all-inclusive events where a single ticket can cost over $450. Then it goes all the way down to the more affordable entry-only parties. This is a serious multi-million-dollar industry.
And here's the kicker about those top-tier parties. That $450 ticket, good luck just buying one. To get access, you usually have to buy a full-blown concierge package that bundles in your hotel, your transport, and your tickets. And those packages start at over $3,000 a person. It's a whole separate high-end luxury service industry running alongside the main event.
But maybe the one thing that cuts through everything else right now is sport. With all the domestic challenges going on, the entire nation is laser-focused on the final qualifying matches for the FIFA World Cup. It's this incredible source of national pride, a collective dream that just gives everyone a powerful sense of hope and unity.
So that leaves us with this one giant question. Trinidad and Tobago has this brilliant, dazzling blueprint for its future, but it's trying to build it on foundations that have some serious cracks. Can that sheer ambition, that vibrant culture, and that powerful national spirit be enough to patch up the deep systemic problems before the whole thing becomes unstable? That right there is the nation's ultimate paradox.